In this video, we are going to talk about why sometimes the best deal is the deal that you don't actually purchase, because sometimes you can purchase the wrong deal that causes such a headache and it's such a big problem. But first, before we get talking about that and what you can do to avoid some of those bad deals, I'm going to talk about how much I've sold today and how much profit it has been. Amazon sales today are $7,009, and I'm going to show you my sales as well. We'll just refresh it. Whoa. We got to just get it back to the regular page there. Great. So we're at 121K in sales the last 30 days. So eventually we'll get to one of those lower sales days. But the inventory lab profit today is showing 2,700, which is absolutely nuts. Also have to factor in that my costs are going to be around 8K a month with what I'm doing with my virtual assistants, with Prep Center, with lost and broken items. There's just a lot of costs as well. And 2,700 is much higher than usual. I am not making 50K profit a month. It's not going that well. It's going well, but it's not going that well. But the example I wanted to talk about today is basically I'm starting a side hustle to my side hustle, and I'm learning how to flip vacant land. And I'm purchasing vacant land from tax deed sales. And so basically, I had researched an auction. There were 3 properties that I was interested in. The first one was a 2.5 acre lot of land that was residential, so buildable. I looked at the comps around the area for similar type items, or I thought similar items in my head, and I came up with the value of around $42,000 that I thought that I was gonna be able to sell this for. And so the plan was, of course, to cut a little bit and sell for a lower price. But I think I was willing to pay, I think around 10K for this. That was the idea anyways. But before the auction, I decided to just get a couple opinions from realtors in the area before actually going to the auction, registering, putting money down, and then having to list these properties if I were to win a property. And both of the realtors, unprovoked, I didn't lead the second realtor on once I heard what the first person said, but they basically said, this is actually kind of on a slope. The shape of the property is actually pretty bad for putting a building on it, and so you're not even going to be able to build on most of this land. And it's between 2 cemeteries, which also lowers the value. And so both of them, unprovoked, basically said, I think this is probably worth 10K. So I could have purchased that property, and maybe I even got it for 6K. Maybe I even got it for 5K. And even cutting, I could have potentially made a profit of 8K. But am I going to go through the hassle and the risk of potentially paying 10K for a property that I might be able to sell for 10K and do all of all of the paperwork, all of the figuring things out, working with realtors, working with the seller, trying to figure out financing hopefully they're not needing to finance an 8K property. But sometimes in Amazon as well, there's situations where we're not going to just buy a product because it's on a spike of a high price right now, where it could go down lower to a price where it's actually going to be a break even. You want to actually look at the risk versus reward of a product and actually make sure it actually makes sense for you. And so just like with the real estate example that I was talking about with Amazon, there's certain factors you need to be looking at with every single sale. How fast is this realistically going to actually sell for you? Because if it's going to take you 3 months to sell that item, your minimum ROI, let's say, is 30%, but it's going to take 3 months to sell, then that's literally 10% ROI a month. For Amazon, that's not very good. And so if you know it's going to take you longer to sell, you need to factor in, okay, this needs to be higher ROI to make it worth the time. Or, is this going to sell in 2 weeks? Like maybe I'm willing to lower my ROI a little bit in order to make that happen because I know this is going to sell absolutely immediately. Like, is the brand on the listing? If the brand's on the listing, you're at a much higher chance of getting an IP claim and potentially putting your account at risk. There's all these little pitfalls that you need to be looking out for. And that's why having friends who are in a similar business model to you helps so much with this business because there are some deals, especially if you source FlipMine, that look so good. But a friend who's experienced knows yeah, we don't sell like what are they, the owl like video baby monitors, like that's a high IP risk. Like that's like even though it's 120% ROI and looks like it's going to sell immediately, we don't want to sell that because there's been one person on the listing just about forever in a lot of the cases. So there's a lot of pitfalls, and at the same time, if you know how to navigate the pitfalls, there's a lot of money to be made. And so starting out in a lower risk way, such as thrifting used books or thrifting electronics and office supplies and other things like that from thrift stores, where you're making bets with your money with $1 for a book, or no dollars for a free book pickup, or $10 for a calculator you found at the thrift store. Those are going to be sustainable risks that you can do over and over again to see if you're actually making the right choices, rather than going straight into, I'm going to spend $100 on this item, not knowing if you're bumping into any of these risk factors. So hopefully that was helpful. A little bit more rambly of a video, a couple stories in there, but if you'd like to connect, I have a Discord that is free, and I'd love to see you in there. I don't make money off of that. I would just like to see you in there, and hopefully we can connect and get to know each other and help each other out. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and take care.